Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back. It is now time for our English Flash News edition, in which we present a translated version of the Albanian news, Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. As usual, I'm Daniel Cook, your host. In today's news, a very tense parliamentary session took place today as the Democrats demanded the resignation of the Speaker of the Assembly, Edi Rama. The Democrats crowded around the podium in a semicircle, demanding the Speaker's resignation for his alleged involvement in the Doshi case. The session had to be suspended almost immediately because of the fierce debates that ensued. There were many harsh words exchanged between Mr. Mehta and the former Prime Minister Salih Berisha in connection to the recent statements of Doshi and the claims that Edi Rama paid to have him killed. The former Prime Minister and the Assembly Speaker exchanged personal accusations, many of which centered around a video that was recorded by the former minister, Dritan Prifti. The former Prime Minister asked the Assembly Speaker to resign, accusing him of trying to pay someone to kill Doshi. Of course, Edi Rama responded that he will not resign his post. During the entire session, the Democrats stood in a semicircle around the podium, repeating their demand that Edi Rama must resign. Mehta responded by telling them to present to the prosecution any facts or evidence that connect him to an order to assassinate Doshi. The former Prime Minister Salih Berisha then told him not to put pressure on the prosecution. The Democrat MP Salih Berisha said that there will be serious disturbances to come if Mehta does not resign from his position as Speaker of the Assembly. During the harsh debates in the parliamentary session today, Prime Minister Edi Rama held his peace and did not get involved. The Prime Minister spoke for the first time outside of the parliament to the public and to the media. Prime Minister Rama said that the opposition wants to take advantage of the situation that has been created by the accusations of Doshi. First of all, he said, this is a very sad showing involving a bunch of hooligans. The citizens are the ones who suffer the consequences of this situation. From the parliament, the citizens expect to hear about the reforms and the laws that the country needs. It is a pity that the country does not have an opposition. This opposition does not represent the citizens, but the voice of a dark world from which Albania will separate itself. Today, the former Prime Minister showed the same standards with which he governed the country. We, however, have a different standard, and we are determined to move forward. It is now up to the prosecution to find out the truth behind this farce that has shamed all of us. We should leave this issue to the prosecution and let them clarify it, said Rama. Later, the Prime Minister commented on the debates in the Parliament on his social networks, saying, "The Parliament was taken hostage today to further continue the farce that must be clarified by the prosecution. Nothing will stop us in the path of renaissance. We will separate ourselves from the politics of defamation and from the politics of accusations," wrote Prime Minister Edi Rama. Some of the foreign ambassadors attended the Assembly session today, but they left when the arguments quickly got out of hand. The journalists have reported that the ambassador of the EU, the ambassador of Italy, and the ambassador of Germany were all present at the Assembly today. The ambassadors gave no statements afterward, but their departure was interpreted as disappointment in the quick deterioration of the Assembly session. The OSCE has issued a statement through a press release in which they openly expressed their disappointment. They urged the politicians to refrain from inflammatory language and actions and to allow the country's institutions to operate in the best interest of the citizens of Albania. Doshi paid a visit to the prosecution of serious crimes this morning in order to provide evidence for the accusations that he has been making. Mr. Dossi's statements of late have thrown the political forces into chaos. He has made accusations against the Speaker of Parliament, claiming that he was the author of an assassination plot against him. This morning, he was ordered to appear to the prosecution in order to provide proof of his claims, and he was there for about 6 hours. When he finally emerged, it was from the rear exit of the building, and he refrained from comment about anything that had gone on within. Mr. Doshi's claims are going to be investigated by the prosecutors. They ordered him to appear and give evidence in support of his claims this morning, or else he would be brought by mandatory escort. Yesterday, the deputy wrote on his Facebook account that he would willingly testify before the prosecutors. He wrote, "I contacted the prosecution of serious crimes in order to give my testimony about the attempted murder of myself and one of my colleagues." After hearing the testimony of Tom Doshi, the prosecution has called Ilir Mehta, Edi Rama, and Saimir Tahiri to give their testimonies on the case. They have also called Mark Froku, Michiel Fufi, Eugen Beci, and Sali Berisha. The chief prosecutor, Adriatic Llalla, presented the new prosecutor of Elbasan today. Chief Prosecutor Llalla presented Eugen Beci as the new prosecutor of the city of Elbasan. Mr. Beci was presented along with the rest of the new staff of the prosecution. The media presence was not allowed. He declined to comment on the photos that Tom Doshi has publicized, in which Beci appears with the people who allegedly ordered Doshi's murder. Afterwards, Mr. Llalla said that the Tom Doshi issue is under investigation. Earlier today, in a meeting with the prosecution of Fier, Llalla said that the case of Doshi is now the responsibility of the prosecution of serious crimes, and that only they can give information about this case. Tirana's medical students are continuing their hunger strike against the high tuition fees that they must pay at the medical university. The students passed the night in the Mother Teresa Square, camped out in tents in the heavy rain. Today, they have called on the politicians to stop telling stories about the killers and to turn their attention to the problems of the students. Now, in the third day of their strike, the students have been joined by others who are taking up the cause, bringing the total number of strikers to 25. One of the students, Lorian Chelai, said that there has been no official reaction to their requests. He said that they are determined to continue their hunger strike. Some of the students had health difficulties because of the low temperature during the night, but they say that they have received medical assistance. More students are expected to join the hunger strike in the coming days. That concludes our news for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. Please join us again at the same time tomorrow for more Albanian news translated into English. Thanks, and have a wonderful night.